Is Dr. Okwe Banwo. Dr. Banwo is a US-based lawyer and policy analyst. As always, thank you very much, Okwe, for joining us today.
Much for having me as usual. I appreciate it.
Sure. Okay, so we'd like to talk about President Trump's economic tariffs and the implications for Africa. Now, off the bat, once we bring Africa into President Trump's blizzard of reciprocal tariffs, that's what the Americans are calling it, reciprocal tariffs, we would of course remember AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, established about 25 years ago, and it's up for renewal now. But there are those who are saying that it's now become obsolete as long as these tariffs continue. The whole effect of it, which was a duty-free access to lucrative U.S. markets, that's the first one, the most obvious one that would occur to people. But give me your assessment to sort of start with the effect that the U.S. government's new range of tariffs, the effect it could have on Africa.
Right. Well, thank you for having me, Egmoyori. But let's stop pretending like as if Trump just woke up and chose economic violence against Africa. The truth is, this tariff move that he's making is not crazy. It's not even unfair. It's a long overdue economic clapback. And it's time we stop crying in Africa and start asking the right questions. For years, Nigerian exports entered the U.S. market at an average tariff of just 1%, thanks to AGOA that you mentioned, and other preferential trade frameworks. Meanwhile, we slapped American products with brutal tariffs, some as high as 85% or 90% on things like sugar, rice, alcohol, wheat, even vehicles. Our average tariffs to U.S. goods is about 27%, most high, even sometimes 90%. That's not protectionism. That is pure economic chancing of America. So let's be honest. If Ghana or Benin Republic, a tenth of our size, dare to eat Nigerian goods with those kind of numbers, we are going to be screaming economic sabotage and maybe send soldiers to go and seal off our border with cement. So Trump is not a regular politician. He's a bulldozer. He doesn't whisper. He shouts. So this was going to happen no matter what. In September, when AGOA comes for renewal, we should expect what will happen. So instead of us getting emotional and combative, which is frankly counterproductive, we should be thinking, how do we turn this crisis into an opportunity and a catalyst? Because here's the truth. This tariff war, painful as it is, comes with hidden blessings. It is forcing us now to confront our overdependence on the U.S. market. So it's a golden opportunity to diversify our exports, to double down on value-added manufacturing, to deepen our intra-African trade, and to reform our own tariff policies to attract foreign investment and stop being seen as the trade bullies. Because right now, it's an ajag Betty Eldon kind of thing that we are doing. We want to get to American market for free, but we are charging them 80-70%, an average of 27% tariff. How is that going to work? So a Trump has come and said, no, you can't be paying us 1% when you come to our house. But when we come to your house, you are charging us 70-80%. Where is it done? So this moves things, I agree, but if we stop whining and start thinking, this could be the fire that forces Nigeria and Africa to finally restructure its trade mindset. It's all been warped for long. Okay. Because the real danger is not the tariff, it's our lazy and sentimental response to it. That's my opening comments.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. And this time, of course, you're always a Nigerian, but this time, you're also an American citizen.
Exactly. So I'm being pushed on both sides, and I want to be fair. Yes, to be honest.
Sorry, when you look at it from the point of view of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, that's what AGOA is. It provides, even though it's non-reciprocal, it's said to provide duty-free access to lucrative U.S. markets, and this affects 32 32 countries, eligible sub-Saharan countries. as you were just saying, it's coming up for renewal. But there are, but analysts are saying, in fact, when did you say? Because did you say in August?
September.
In September. It's coming up for renewal in September. But analysts have already said that the thing has been destroyed. It's now null and void, of no effect whatsoever, the way it's going. Because Trump is not, as they say in America, he's taking no prisoners in this whole MAGA thing. Make America great again. And unfortunately, our little brother or his sister African country, what was that? It is actually getting the worst of all of this, because I'm reading here, when I was looking at one of the articles, that they've been hit with one of the highest tariff rates. I'm talking about, why I'm a bit confused is that they have a new name now. This country has a new name now. Anyhow, they've just been hit with a 50% tariff rate. Haba, it means that Trump was not looking at the small print. If you're a country, if you are benefiting from AGOA, then let's level up the field, let it be. But the question I wanted to really ask you is that the whole, just look at the name, African Growth and Opportunity Act. It was an initiative by the U.S. to help African countries.
Is it by force that they must keep helping when they themselves are barely standing? They are owing the whole world. If China causing its loans today, America will go bankrupt. So they are trying to reduce their own debt. America cannot be financing the prosperity of China, which is what has been happening. Okay, yes, they want to help African countries, but is it not somebody that is standing that will help the other country? African countries have been enjoying 1% tariff to America for more than 20-something years. So if America now wakes up, meanwhile, they charge America 80, 70%, 30%. If America is now saying pay us 14%, like in the case of Nigeria, why are we shouting? Why must everything just favor us over America? If I'm American president, I'm going to do what Trump is doing. You can't charge me 30% and then pay me 1%. So it's not even this reciprocal tariff that everybody is talking about is not really reciprocal. Nigeria right now, our average tariff on American product is 27%. We have some that are 70, 80, 90, 95. America is asking for 14%, which is still less than half of our average tariff to them. So instead of us seeing America as a bully, the way most of the world sees it, because most don't even understand this. They didn't even know that China don't pay taxes to America. They pay 1%, 2% to America for American products when they import to America. That's why everything in America is Chinese now. And America is saying, no, our own industries are dying. Our people are struggling. We have to balance this. We have to make American products more competitive. What is wrong with that? Nigeria just banned solar. Nigeria is banning everything to try to protect our own industry. We can't do an ajagbeti odorun type of thing in this current world. So that's why I think that we're approaching this thing wrong. You know the biggest weakness of Donald Trump? Ego and pride. Nigeria can get the best deal from America simply by sucking up to this guy. That's one of the 10 ways I feel that we can deal with this. Don't antagonize. Try to suck up to Trump. There is nothing that will cause Nigeria to butter the man. The man likes to be buttered. You butter him small, you might be surprised. He might give way back to Nigeria. But we want to fight and say we are going to abandon American products. You can't do that.
Okay.
The world needs America more than America needs the world, and that is just a fact.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that question, I mean, that country, that sort of Salo Lurimi, it was Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, formerly Swaziland. And they, as you know, they have been hit with a very high 50% rate. Now, the thing is, people don't think that the president, that is President Trump, is being necessarily logical in his establishment of these tariffs. And also, after the market crashed, following his initial announcement, he sort of pulled back a bit and said, okay, you know what, a moratorium. Let's give ourselves some time so that we get our house in order, but we're still going to come to it. Now, people have said that and are saying that this is not the way countries are run. This is not the way. You've just said that all important word. Okay, if it is suspected that there's an ego aspect, go ahead and do the needful, butter up a bit, but you can't go perhaps like the Chinese are going. The Chinese, if America does say, put to 50, okay, take 75. That is what, look, it looks like China is spoiling for a fight. I don't know where that one is going to go. But in terms of Africa, what you seem to be saying is that, look, rather than moaning about it, let us use the time to re-strategize, right? But how do you mean by that? If you say to re-strategize, we are where we are in the situation that we are, and President Trump is not necessarily making it any easier. In fact, he's making it more difficult, all under the banner of, I say to the world, make America great again, America first. And Oju Anutifo.
First, to our own president. Let's, again, I keep saying this, until we understand this. No, Trump is not being irrational. He's actually the only rational person on this tariff issue. I'm not talking about other issues. Nigeria, I just said this several times, we charge USA between 27 to 97% tariff. US is asking us to pay 14% now, and we are saying it's irrational. The Swaziland you talk about is actually 10%. They gave them not 100%, so maybe you are mixing up the country. Go and look at everybody America has put a tariff on. The tariff America put on that country is less than what that country is putting to America. China used to pay 2%. America said, okay, come and pay us 10%. No, they said they're going to start a trade war. Let them start it now. The way we react is what is most irrational. I just ask you a simple question, sir. If I were to come to TVC, every time I come to TVC, I pay you 27 naira. But then you come, assuming that I have a Okwebanwo TV. Then when you come to Okwebanwo TV, you pay only 1%. Then I got a new MD who now say, no, we can't do it like this. How can TVC be charging us 27%? Let's charge them 14%, which is half of what you charge us. Are you going to say I'm irrational? No, you're not going to say that. You are saying it because it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is saying every country is putting their own country first. It's about time America puts America first. And now the world, all of a sudden, woke up, realized that the gravy train is stopped. Now they want to demonize the man. That's not the approach. No, I'm looking at it on both sides, and I've been following this thing very closely. To me, the reaction of the world is the most hypocritical and the most irrational. Take China. Okay? China has been entering American market for 2%, 1%, and sometimes a lot of waivers. They have swamped, they have dumped their stuff in America. This time I'm sure it's made in China. I bought it in America. And American infrastructure is dying. Our industries are dying. And they're saying, no, you can't keep doing that. Especially if we are borrowing from you. It's like America is borrowing from China to supplement and to subsidize Chinese prosperity. It makes no sense. I'm not talking about anything else about Trump. But on this tariff thing, it's 100% correct. So if the world will just calm down and understand that America has been dealt with unfairly for so many years. America has tried. They've done AGOA. They've done a lot of initiatives to help African countries to grow. But we refuse to grow because our leaders are not doing what they need to do. They are being short-sighted. Because AGOA is free, importation to America are almost free. We refuse to think and diversify. So we became dependent on American economy. So this will force us to understand that America is not the world. There are other countries out there that we can begin to diversify our efforts at exports. Look at Africa, the AFTA. Do you know that trade among African countries is still just about 20% of their trade that they do? So instead of us increasing trade among ourselves to make ourselves a powerful bloc, we are all busy running and shipping to America because shipping to America is free. Now America is saying, no, it's no longer free. We also need to grow. Then we should borrow ourselves brain. Thank America for what he has done. If I'm the president, is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, Mr. Donald Trump, thank you so much. America has been good to Nigeria for 25 years or Africa for 25 years. 14% might look a little bit excessive, but we thank you because we are charging 27 to 80%. Well, what can we do? Yeah. That's number one. Two, I will also advise the country, like Nigeria again, is a game. It's a political game. Instead of me doing retaliation against America, you know what I would do if I'm president? I will actually reduce some tariff for American products, especially products that we really need in Nigeria, I will reduce the tariff. That will send Trump mental. Trump, because of that, will do so much for Nigeria that it will not even be funny. I'm telling you. And that's fair. It will be fair too if I take some of the approach, maybe the machinery that we really need that we're not producing, and I reduce the tariff from let's say 40% to all of a sudden to 30% or 25%. Trump will make that a diplomatic noise all over the world that Nigeria has succumbed. Okay, but guess what? It's going to wake up and all of a sudden it's going to start giving us some concessions. Or we can discuss that as part of the negotiation, that we will reduce tariff against America in these areas, but we want more visas for our people. We want more of this, we want more of this. America, that's how you deal with a deal maker. You don't call him irrational and say, hey, we're going to boycott America. No. American economy is 25 trillion. 25 trillion. The whole of Africa is not even up to 2 trillion. You say you want to boycott America. No, you cannot do that. America is right on this, Mr. Yori. America is on the right of fairness here. Okay. If people understand that, you can't charge me 1%, 27%, and I'm charging you 1%, and you are saying that's fair trade. Okay. How is that possible?
Okay, you know, you're right. When you look at it, first of all, you're right. It's not Eswatini or Swaziland that I wanted, it's Lesotho. Lesotho has been hit with 50%. 50%, Madagascar 47%, Mauritius 40%, and then there's also South Africa. How much is South Africa? So, you know, those are the people that, you know, Nigeria is not even crying along those lines at all. What we are doing, when I say Nigeria is not even crying, it hasn't become a subject matter, but it's like to sort of see where the implications are for Africa, and of course we're included in Africa, but we certainly don't have it the worst. We certainly don't have it the worst. What? South Africa is 31%. South Africa is 31%, and the highest is tiny Lesotho at 50%. So it's against that backdrop that we're saying, wait, what are the options for Africa now? And some of those options you have been talking about even as you were speaking there.
Yeah, again, this tariff policy, as far as I'm concerned, I know the world is still in shock, so they are still seeing this thing as irrational as bullying, is one of the most rational moves Donald Trump has ever made. Do you know why he put 50% tariff on Lesotho? You have to ask yourself, why did he give Nigeria 14 and Lesotho 50, and Lesotho is so tiny? There's a reason. Everything is got a political reason. Because the manufacturing industry, textile manufacturing, that America is trying to protect its industries, Lesotho ships 75% of its output to America.
The output is mainly The output is mainly textiles and diamonds.
Yes, 75% of its output to America. They are dumping it there. He saying, no, we don't want that. So you want to play, we play. So for me, like I said, there is nobody, all this tariff, and again, go and double check it, there is no tariff America has set that is higher than the country is set it against, what they are charging America. Nigeria is 14%, but cars from America is 40%, and 20% is 20% that you add 40%, plus all the rich at the ports. So effectively, you are charging American cars like 50%, and most of their products are like that. So it's charging us 14%. We should be grateful because it's still not reciprocal yet. If he wants to go reciprocal with us, all our dundu, all those stuff that we are saying, will become 50% too, because that's what we go through. So we need to engage Trump. Trump is a deal man, is a man full of ego, but he's also a man that if you give him a good deal that makes him look good, Donald Trump will play ball. And I think this is the time the world should understand that the game has changed. AGOA is great. You know what's happening in September? Trump is going to cancel it. You know that. We don't need to talk about that now. So what he's going to do it?
It's almost certain.
Sorry.
It's almost certain that he will be canceling it.
Yeah, and that is why Africa should not wait until it happens. That's what is our problem. Now is the time they need to be flying to America to renegotiate and say, okay, we understand that we have been on a gravy train for 25 years. Okay, Mashibai, don't cancel it. Okay, make it 10%. Instead of 1%. Negotiate for something. But what Africa will do is that they'll wait for that September. They'll be praying in their churches. They'll be doing all sorts of noise. And when the thing lapses, like Nicaragua and their TPS, when it lapses, then you start shouting. This is trade. America just signaled that it doesn't want to be the big brother of Africa, of the world anymore, where everybody is getting the better of it when it comes to trade, and they are assuming it because they are so big that it doesn't feel. But when you live in America, you know that we have major problems too. Our infrastructures are crumbling. America owes more than the whole world combined in debt to China. Somebody's got to pay that at some point. So they need to reduce their expenses. You can't be a broke business person and then be doing charitable giveaways all over the place, which is what America is doing. They are borrowing money to give away free money through U.S. aid to the whole world. It's insane.
You know, yeah.
With all due respect.
There's a way in.
So Trump, forget his ego, forget his whatever. Trump is being very, very rational on this trade issue. Yes, it's going to cause world inflation. Yes, it's going to cause higher prices for everybody. But we all need to sit down and renegotiate this. And I think that's where Trump is going. There's going to be a World Trade Conference at some point. And then, you know, when you jive everybody liar like that, make all this noise, everybody is panicking, then you say, come and sit down, let's talk. They'll be more malleable to reducing tariff on American product. Right now, everybody was making noise before. But now that it's putting 50% here, 10% here, 14% here, and all of us are shouting. Finally, when it calls a meeting, and I'm betting you in about 3 to 4 months, it's going to call for that conference thing to renegotiate the whole of this tariff thing. Either nobody puts tariff, or all of us tax ourselves. At that point, the world will understand that the world just changed. So we need to take our local manufacturing more seriously. We need to be less dependent on America simply because it's cheaper to go there. There are other countries in the world. We can form relationships. We can strengthen ourselves as a bloc. If Africa has strengthened its trade where we are doing like 50% of our trade with ourselves, America can't bluff us. Europe can't bluff us. But because we refuse to work with ourselves, we are busy fighting each other. We are busy competing against each other. When Europe was consolidating, America is busy, Africa is busy looking for how they will go and fight somebody who planned coup here, how they will go and influence somebody's election there, rather than us looking for how to work well together so that we form a bloc. Africa has so many things that America wants, that they need.
Indeed.
Right? So if we are working together and trading these things among ourselves, then it becomes easy to call the bluff of anybody, even though in this case, I don't think Trump is bluffing, and I don't think it's been unfair. I think Trump is trying to balance the scales, and I think if we are being fair, we will take this from Republic of Benin. Now, guys, Republic of Benin will charge us 50%, and then we are charging them 1%. Egbonyori, you will have done a show to shout about that. Mm-hmm. So why do we think we can do it to America? So this is time to talk.
You know what, Okwe?
Yes.
What I suggest we do now, I'm going to take a break, and when we come back...
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back. Dr. Okwe Banwo is our guest, US-based lawyer and policy analyst. And actually, the man is wearing two caps. He has the Nigerian cap. He also has the American cap. The man is an American citizen. Yes, and he's also a Nigerian by birth. And he's not about to give up his citizenship anytime soon. So here we are, Dr. Okwe Banwo. Now, what is the way to go? Because I was just reading a report, and how to react, you've already suggested how African nations might react. But there's also the problem that I don't know how well we understand this. It is being called perverse logic that tariffs meant for some countries like Kenya escaping with 10%, for example. 10%. And we cited the example earlier of little Lesotho, being hit with 50%. So I hear what you say, that, look, you don't want to hear people say that it's illogical. What could be more illogical than looking out for yourself? And that's Trump's agenda from day one.
Yes. To me, again, people, because all countries are not equal. That's why you have differential taxes for different countries. And when you look at the percentage Trump puts on them versus what they were paying before or the kind of trade they are doing with America, then you will understand. It is not arbitrary. This man, Trump, has been saying this thing for years, before he even became president. For those, if you listen to his interview with Oprah Winfrey and with Larry King over 20 years ago, he's saying these things he's doing right now. So he didn't just wake up and people are trying to sell it. Our leaders, rather than facing reality, they're trying to sell it as irrationalism. No. So the way Africa should deal with it, I've said it before, Trump is a deal maker with a big ego. If you give the man a great deal, the man will celebrate and probably even over-reciprocate. And I've said 5 things I think Africa can do. They can decide to do it or not, but that's where it's going to come down to. Number 1, you need to strategically stroke Donald Trump's ego, because that's what makes him tick. Number 2, you need to do the opposite of what China is doing. Lower some tariffs for America to be able to give Donald Trump some wins so that he can have a leeway to negotiate for better. Just a little, because right now everything is skewed in favor of African countries when it comes to the tariff regime, and that's the reality. So if African countries reduce some taxes for America, they're not really giving America anything new that they don't deserve. 80%, 70% to 1% is not fair. So if you reduce your own by 10% of what you are charging them already, it looks like America has won, but you have only been a little bit fairer to them. Number 3, we should stop the tariff hypocrisy. See, we can't be hypocrites and then be shouting. We ourselves, we charge tariff to other countries. We oppress them with our own tariff. So we need to get better. Number 4, we need to diversify. And I think that's the most important benefit of this thing, because there are benefits. Because it's forcing us to stop relying on America as the go-to place, that AGOA has spotted. It's like welfare. That's what AGOA has done to Africa. It's like giving welfare in America. It stops you from thinking. It stops you from working. So same way in Africa. I think those who even did it, I don't even think they meant well for us. Even though we are thinking it's a benefit, they more or less put a golden handcuff on Africa, where AGOA makes our exports to America literally free, or 1%, and they also give us a lot of free money. That stopped us from thinking. Okay, now we ended up with a kind of dependence on export to America. Now today, a Pharaoh that does not know Joseph is there, and now we're all crying. But with AGOA now being more or less shuttered, maybe our brains will open up. We have many countries in Africa that have stuff that we produce in Nigeria. We have many countries in Asia. We have many countries in Europe. We need to open up how to diversify our products. And number 5, we need to process before we export. It's another benefit. A lot of the taxes Trump put on is on raw materials. So, and that's what we export. So this is a blessing for us in the sense that now maybe we need to start adding a lot of value to our exports and to our product before we export it. We should stop eating our hide and skin as common and begin to look at how we can process it before we export it. We should stop thinking about just exporting our crude oil. So this is a blessing to us. It will force us to add value. We charge value-added tax in Nigeria.
One second, thank you very much. Let me bring in Mr. Joshua. He's called in from Irewolide. Good morning to you.
To you, and good morning to your guest, Dr. Okpe Banwo. Good
morning, sir.
I want to appeal to Dr. Okpe to please address African leaders. Let this program go directly to African leaders. Why is it impossible for Africa to have a common economic bloc? Today, we have United States of America. That's what is powerful about America. United States of America. Africa is scattered here and there, where everybody is looking for a way to be a nation to himself. I mean, even in Nigeria, we are still fighting Biafra. We are talking Yoruba nation. We are talking Arewa, where we are nothing when it comes to the economic power of the world. He should talk to African leaders first. We need a common economic bloc. We're not even trading with ourselves. We're not trading. What is wrong with us? What kind of pride is this for the black skin? That it is about me. I'm the head of an ant, right? The elephant is there. You want to be the headquarter of the ant. right? So for me, Africa is, we are the problems of ourselves. I don't blame Trump. But I also want to tell him, sir, that look, Trump is not playing an economic game. He's playing a political game. The American influence in the world is beyond economy. Well, America wants to be great again or wants to be first. First in what? The dollar is causing problems everywhere in the world right now. The dollar is causing problems everywhere in the world. America is great. America is supposed to be, as it were, the big brother negotiating with the others to say, okay, in this area, I'll give you this concession. This is where you will do this and all that. Now they are still doing cowboy. You want to kill the whole world and to own everything. Trump should slow down, I beg.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. But listen to me, sir. Don't drink Panadol for America's headache, okay? You are not American, or at least you are not identifying with them. So if they want to be great again, that's their own problem. We should worry about our problem in Africa. You spoke well. Everything you said, I agree, until you start talking about Trump should slow down. What has he done that is unfair? That's what nobody has been able to answer me. You charge a man 40%. He's charging you 14%. And you are saying it's unfair. That is what that gentleman did not address. Because we like to... America is broke. America is the largest borrower. People love you when you are giving away freebies. I experienced this in the entertainment industry. When I was spending millions on my artists, they were all very happy. When I got broke and I said, no, I'm not going to be able to sponsor you for free anymore, everybody went against me. It's as if I'm now the devil, even though it was my money I'm spending. America is spending money to help Africa for years. Now they say we can't do it anymore. Instead of you thanking them for what they've done, now you are seeing them as bullies. But everything else the man said, I agree with. To add to it, we also need to have professionals going to trade conferences to go and negotiate for us. We should stop sending politicians who are going to be holed up in their hotels with low shows and not even go for the meetings that we send them. They are collecting it for Esther code. They are collecting it to go and enjoy. Because where these things get negotiated. Seriously.
Okay, 1 second, please. One second. Let me bring in Mr. George, who has called in from Ikeja and has been holding on for a while. Good morning, Mr. George.
Yes,
good morning, Uncle Yori.
Okay.
Uncle Yori, when I see some Nigerians praising Trump to the heavens for his arbitrary and I don't know the word to use, the type of policies he's using to bring down the world, just because they do not like who is in power in Nigeria, it makes me laugh. They get our brother there, who is a U.S. citizen. His point of view is understandable. Trump is canceling citizenship of people that were born there, and is deporting those students who have gotten American visa to go and study there. And he would not want his own to be, to be invalidated. So that is understandable. Dr. Pemba made two statements that made me to call. He said, America has a $25 trillion economy, and that the world needs America. America does not need the world. How? Is there a country on this face of the earth that does not need anything from another country? If that was true, how come that when this tariff issue, when Trump started it, Europe reacted, other countries reacted and pushed back, and then they have to retreat? He doesn't need us, or he doesn't need other countries. Why did he do that?
All right.
We have to speak the truth.
But that's not what I said.
That's not what I said. Spoken.
Okay.
Irrational behavior. And what he is doing now, Uncle Yori, what that he calls MAGA, is it actually making America great again? Where the whole world, you've declared the whole other countries of the world your enemy? Does it make America great again?
Well,
I'm unable to buy the stuff that our brother is selling there.
All right. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Right.
But we'll have to remember that, I don't know, President Trump is not a politician. He's a deal maker.
Let me respond to that gentleman.
But okay, go ahead, please.
First, because misrepresentation is unfair. I never said America doesn't need the world. I said the world needs America more than America needs it. And the statistics prove that. And again, I'm not supporting Trump in everything. We are talking about this tariff. Now you have brought in immigration, you have brought all of that stuff. You are going to distract us. I'm not going to even bother responding to that. But my point is, that gentleman, just like I keep saying, anybody who's going to call in and say this tariff is unfair, please tell me what is unfair about it. Nobody, no professional, no motor third person has been able to show how that is unfair. The only thing they are saying is that you are sucking my breast for 20-something years. I'm saying, no, I want to suck your own also. Now you get upset. That's what the world is saying. Because I've just explained it. Literally, most countries pay 1 or 2% because America has these liberal trade policies for exporting to America. But when it comes to American products coming to their country, they charge it 70%, 80%, 60%, 20%. And their president is saying, no, we cannot continue like that. And the whole world is going crazy that is irrational. What is irrational about that? What is irrational about somebody who used to be very rich, who is giving out a lot of free money? America is the only country. That man did not say that before. The only country that gives away 50,000 free citizenships every year. Nigeria doesn't even give citizenship to spouses of their people. America allows you to bring your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, everybody. That's the immigration law. I'm an immigration lawyer. They've been doing that since the war started. But you stay in your own country, you don't give citizenship to nobody. Okay? Dubai doesn't give it to anybody. South Africa, Saudi Arabia doesn't do it. Nigeria doesn't do it. It's very tough to get Nigerian citizenship. So now that they are tightening up their own, now you are mad. Who has been unfair here? Who has been irrational? But let's leave immigration because I don't really, that's a very, very emotional one for every one of us, including me. And I'm an immigration lawyer. Let's stay with tariff. What I'm saying is that yes, Trump may appear irrational to the world because the world doesn't expect America to demand fairness. Because if you charge me 27% and I'm saying pay me 10%, you can't say I'm irrational. If I'm giving away free money to the world through an organization called USAID and I'm broke and I'm paying interest rate for my loan to China and I'm saying, no, we need to slow down on free giveaways, how can you say I'm irrational? Nigeria and Africans, generally, we just like free stuff. We don't want to work. We don't want to do our own thing. But we want to blame America for not giving us free money. Because that's what USAID is. I'm not saying USAID is not good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's serving a lot of good use. But for you to be giving away charity, you have to be okay yourself. I will be contemptuous of a billionaire who is owing banks billions of naira that is not servicing, and then he wants to be doing free giveaway so that they can say it's a good person, so that they can say he has a large heart.
Let me bring in another caller. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning, Dr. Bawo.
How are you, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for calling in.
Yori, I want to support Dr. Bawo for the first time 100%. You know, my Bible says, Pastor, my Bible says a borrower is a slave to the lender. How long will Nigeria be this slave? There's something that shocked me a few days ago, Yori, that Nigerians or Africans, we have more HIV patients now than before because America is no more giving AIDS to HIV. This is over 30, 40 years we have this plague. I mean, no African nation has said that one day a man who is giving you will say, I don't have enough to give you. Let us build here a political plant to fight HIV. Now America has put themselves in it. Look at how Nigerians and Africans are running like babies. How long do we continue that way? The man there is supporting us here to be self-independent. I will not giant of Africa. Can we help South Africa? Can we help Guinea?
Yes.
Can we help Ivory Coast? We're giant of Africa. What are we doing as giant of Africa? Beg up giant. It's time. I wish Trump will make it 100%. So we can come back home for one day. I said there's a palm oil here. There's a crude oil here. There's a gold here. There's all precious stone here. We can be like America of Africa. We can beat that big brother.
Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic.
Yes.
That you know,
Yes,
at least that was speaking to the page you are on. That look, tell me what's unfair about it.
Let me ask you a question. We have natural gas, but the pain of us building the infrastructure to harness it and be able to make plenty money with it and serve the world, we didn't want to go through that. We started flaring it. And when you ask our politicians, they tell a long story. They don't want to go through the pain of creating the structure to harness our natural resources. We export our diamond raw. We export everything raw because it's harder to add value. We don't want to do that. So this is a good blessing for us. Now that America is squeezing, then maybe our government, now the other gentleman said, oh, those who don't like Nigerian government. Who doesn't like Nigerian government? I love Nigerian government. I love the part they are doing well. The part they are not doing well, I talk about it. What I'm saying is that we should go more dependent on ourselves, because a time will come where the world is not going to be as easy, as tolerant of us as we are. And like that gentleman said, we are the giant of Africa. Won't you be mad, Egbonyori, if today you are hearing that Nigeria is giving billions of naira to Togo when Nigerians are starving? But that's what we expect of America to keep doing. Americans are complaining that our industries are dying. I live here. Our infrastructure is crumbling, literally. I go to other countries. I see how beautiful their infrastructure is now. American infrastructure is one they had 50 years ago, 60 years ago. They need to rebuild it. But you are saying, no, they must continue to give us free bed. No, they won't. We need to get our act together. AGOA is dying. I get it. But let's create an African version, the ACFA. We have the ACFA. Trade among ourselves is just about 20% now. Why can't we, Nigeria, lead that effort for it to then be 50%? Let's trade among ourselves. After all, the whole of Africa used to be traded by barter. Let's start with that and leave all these places alone. Let's build our own infrastructure. Let's build about a proper ecosystem. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Our exports need support. 25% interest rate is not going to help anybody. So we need to work on that. People, our manufacturers, our exporters, we need to provide an ecosystem for them where they can get affordable credit. They can get good warehousing, logistics, export insurance, and market data. We can't even give them export insurance. Who's going to take it from them? If you are bringing stuff from America, it's automatic. You must have export insurance. In Nigeria, everything is so crazy. So we need to build, and I'm talking Africa now, since this is about Africa, it's not just Nigeria now. We need to seriously think about creating our own support ecosystem for our products.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you, but we're fast running out of time. And I wanted you to react to I think it was Mr. George who called in and said, look, the way some people are commenting, it might be influenced by the fact that they don't like who's in charge in Nigeria, for instance. You heard that. Would you like to talk about that? Because
no, and that is correct. And this is where I differ from a lot of. I'm not an APC person. Everybody knows that I'm a public affairs critic, I say. And I think a lot of us in Nigeria, just like what they are doing to Trump in America, many of us don't even want to hear about the good policies this government is doing simply because we don't like the man. At the end, that's a fact. And I don't want to regionalize this thing. I don't even think it's about East or not. What it's just that most of the people, when they're analyzing the policies of this government, they're analyzing it in the personality of President Bola Tinubu instead of analyzing it on his own intrinsic merit. So they refuse to see the good things that the government is doing simply because many of us are still hurting over the 2023 election. And my thing is, get over it. Okay, get over it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is just a person. He's not Nigeria. Let's look at the policies that he's doing. Does it make sense? Can he do better? Do we agree? Do we disagree? Regardless of who the man is. And that is our major problem. And it's not unique. Trump is dealing with that maybe on a worse level, where when they hear something, the first thing is they want to criticize it because it is Donald Trump. It's happening in Nigeria too.
All right.
And I'm saying that those of us who are elites, we need to get better. Elections have consequences. Election is come and gone. Another one is coming in 2 years. And right now is what we got.
and we have to get over all those who are still hurting. We need to get over it and move ahead.
They need to get over it.
Well,
yes.
Okwe, thank you very much. Dr. Okwe Banwo has been our guest, US-based legal practitioner and policy analyst. He even explained it in there that he's an immigration lawyer. I dare add, among other things, Dr. Okwe Banwo is a man of many hats. Thank you very much, Okwe, for coming on our program this morning. Okay. So that's our program today.